New season of Dimensional Clash is finally here, so let's talk a little bit about the current teams people are using, what I've been personally using to clear, and also we're gonna be doing a run at the end of the video so you guys can see usually how I distribute the items and when I decide to reset or when I decide to keep going. Now, before we go into this, obviously, hello the internet, welcome back to Waifus. I'm Sefhi, your favorite gambling addict. Leave a like, subscribe, help me grow the channel, and Dimensional Clash and every game mode in Trickcal that's competitive, quote-unquote competitive, it has a lot of RNG. There is always going to be a lot of RNG. This means resetting a lot. This means sometimes you might be able to clear stage 15, sometimes you might be stuck at 13 because of the RNG consistently on the boss and not getting good items. These game modes are also heavily dependent on what items do you have and how many stars do they have. So, do not feel like, oh, I'm falling behind because I'm getting lower scores or I'm not getting top 100 or top 300 or top 3%. Whatever it is, doesn't matter. Everyone for participating is getting a multi, which is good. Okay, so just for participating, everyone gets a multi. I don't think that you need to worry too much about the competitive aspect. That said, right, that said, let's talk a little bit about what I've been running personally, what my team has been, and then we'll do a run here and also talk about alternative characters, right? So if I reset, or we go right here and we go once again into lineup, this is the team that I've been using personally. Almost full DPS, but instead of running Hilde as an extra healer, I've been running Cyst with Heracide, because Heracide is actually pretty good, and a properly invested Cyst, like if you go all in, is actually doing as much damage as some of the meta DPSs right here. So if I go back and I go into the ranking right now, mine is not doing as much damage. My Cyst is acting as a buffer for the most part, but Timmy's Cyst is doing really good damage on 27-second run, right? So he's getting like 13 seconds or 16-second better clears than me. Yeah, there it is, 43 seconds for me. So if your Cyst is invested, she's a fantastic character to be using here with the aside. Now, the reason we use her, oh, can I get in, please, Trickcal? The reason we use her with the aside is because she is buffing not only herself, but 2 random DPSs, right? So she can be buffing your Homeless Dragon, she can be buffing the best DPS for this raid, which is going to be Xion. She can be buffing a bunch of different characters here. So that's what I've been using. When it comes to ultimates, I don't use Xion, I don't use Gideon, and I don't care about Posher ultimate either. So I've been using everyone else. I think the most important ultimates to be using here on this team, if you have these characters, right, are going to be your Yomi for the damage, your Cyst because of her damage and also all of the buffs she's providing. Komi, depending on the boss and how much combat power you have, might not need to use it, but as a general of time, I like using it. And I do like using Snorky as well, because she has good damage. Now, Sefhi, I don't have all of these characters. What are some alternatives to be running, obviously, no? So let's remove everyone and let's go one by one. So if we're talking about the front line, obviously any of the girls with asides will work as your main tank. So either Ed or Bibi can work if you have the asides, and even without the asides work. But since this is a DPS raid, right, the best character here is going to be Komi. Snorky is not the main tank. She can be your main tank in this raid because there is only one boss, so she will always go target that enemy, right? But I do like running Komi rather than Snorky. You could be running Ron as a buffer, but you will be losing personality bonuses, which are really strong, right? They are really strong. So the best character is gonna be Komi. There is no real other alternative. You can still use Festa for the noise debuff. You can still use Rim as an off tank just to fill the gap and get some extra personality bonuses, right? They are still characters worth using, right? So those are the best characters right now. I've been using Gideon because it's one of the strongest damage dealers for this raid. The Homeless Dragon, if you put nice items for damage, she's dealing really good numbers. So to me, one of my main DPSs is been Gideon, and then Snorky just as a sub DPS for the extra shield with the aside. It's a pretty nice off-tank sub DPS, to be honest. And my Komi is the one that's been tanking. Any other tank could work, but like I was saying earlier, the best ones are going to be obviously the press for this raid. Not a lot of options in there. When it comes to the mid lane, there are a few characters here you could be running. Still fantastic characters if you have them invested. Your Epica, your Elena can still deal good damage. Remember that personality bonuses will always be just stronger. Like if you have a super invested Epica and a semi-invested Blanchett or any character that's on personality, they will be dealing better damage, right? So the best characters on personality here will be your Yomi, obviously, will be your Blanchett, and then you could be running Hilde. If you need more heals, I will suggest, if you have enough heals, instead of using Hilde, to run something else in here as a buffer or extra DPS. This depends on how much you can survive, because obviously not everyone will have the Seized aside, right? So if you have it, this is a pretty good spot to put her. She's gonna be buffing 2 characters, which in my opinion is fantastic. Like being able to buff 2 allies means she can act as a buffer on every single clash moving forward. Obviously until we get something better for those personalities, but until then, until we have enough yearnings with her combat power plus the buffs, she can be used on a bunch of different rates. So for that reason, I've been really enjoying Seized. When it comes to the press girls, there are only 3. I don't recommend using Choppy, obviously, or Levi, or who's this, Vero? Yeah, or Vero. I don't think they are good characters, but if you have them invested because they are your waifus, go for it. Now, the other main DPS for this raid, outside of Jorkidian, outside of Yomi dealing decent damage, is gonna be Xion. Xion is the main hyper carry for this raid. She's the one that by far can have the highest damage ceiling here. Her damage is stupid, it will keep being so, right? And when she gets her journey, it's only gonna be getting even better. Another character that's pretty good in here is gonna be Ashur. She deals decent damage. She's not gonna be any hyper carry by any means, but it's extra damage and also personality bonuses, right? Which is important. Now, the last spot can be filled with different things. Since you're only running, okay, if you were to copy this team, since you're only running Yomi, I will suggest Posher for the extra heals, right? If you don't have Posher invested, you could be running your Meluna. If you don't have her invested or you don't have anyone else, you could still run something like, anyone that can heal if you need the extra heals, or your Chopin, your Picora, anyone else, or you could be going for the extra damage with Momo. I will suggest grabbing at least 8 Depressed Apostles for the personality bonuses. So you either run either your Momo or your Seized or whoever you want to be running of element, but only one. Because the difference is quite big. We go from 91% all the way to 120%. And if you're having issues surviving, which is also important, you will most likely end up removing Seized and putting someone else for the personality bonus, because it goes all the way to 153% damage and HP, which is important. That said, enough jumping. That is the team that I've been using. Let's jump directly into what I do run, how I distribute the items. You already guys have a previous video on my item filters. Items are also heavily dependent on how lucky you are and how much you pull there, okay? So obviously do not take specific items as, oh, I need those same items, I need to have these or that. It's fine, guys. Whatever you get, slowly build on that, okay? It's fine. When it comes to ultimates here, this is what I've been running. Again, you could be changing some stuff to put maybe a Ashur ultimate instead of Blanchett. You could be putting instead, if you wanted, Xion even. I don't like running Xion ultimate, but that's up to you. But that is what I've been running. So let's jump into this, do a quick run. We might have to restart, which is completely fine. This game mode is heavily dependent on restarting. That's why I said that you will be stuck sometimes at stage 12, sometimes at 7, sometimes at 6. Whatever it is that you get stuck, you can either keep retrying or just take that score and stay there, right? So I try to get as many caves as possible. This is the strongest item when it comes to damage on raids and overall this for single target damage, right? It's a fantastic item. The cake is also close to that, but the cake downside is that it's only for magic damage dealers. So in this case would be for Yomi, could be for your Blanchett. Is Ashur also magic? I think Ashur, yes, Ashur is also magic. So any magic damage dealer, you can put the cake. I like to put it on Yomi. I prioritize offensive items over defensive ones early on. I mean, as many offensive items as I can take. For my Xion, I try to get a cape, a Battle Yellow card, and a Dragonlight sword, something like that. For my Yomi, if I can get something similar, like a Battle Yellow card, a cape, the cake, things like that is what I try to put on. This is obviously always going to be heavily dependent on RNG. Like, the amount of times I can retry to get these items is crazy. In fact, we are being really lucky right now. like really lucky with the items. We got 3 capes, which is already pretty weird. We got the cake, we got the butter yellow card. I like putting 1 item on Komi. The amount of items your tank needs depends on your investment to survive. To me, 1 item is good enough to survive. For some people, they might need 2 items. For some people, they might even need 3 items. Again, pure RNG. Now, I don't usually like to put the kettlebell, but there was nothing else in there, so I picked that. This one right here with this example is pretty bad overall. I might pick something like this and put it on your Snorky, for example, for the 2 normal attacks. I don't like the magical backpack on Komi because she's sleeping all the time. Right? She's taking naps, so it's kind of like a waste. Now, Dragon Light Sword, one of the strongest items for damage deal, we put it on her. If we could be getting, let me see, another Dragon Light Sword to put on Kidian, that would be fantastic. And then if we could get something maybe for Seist, the J Codex is fantastic for her. Like, it's the best item to scale. I like putting this on Yomi as well, but for single target, I just prefer, if I can get it, right? Obviously, to put the cape, the cake, and then lastly something for the enhanced damage or something different. Now, in here, there is only 2 items left, so you can decide, okay, do I want to risk rerolling, or do I put the Elena enhanced drone on Kidian? I don't want to risk it, so I just put it on Kidian. And then lastly, we get lucky and we get the Dragon Light Sword, which could have been for Kidian, but in this case, go for Seist. Now, a lot of people will disagree with this. I'm a lazy well. I don't like manualing, I auto. This is up to you, alright? So we'll just let it run, and you guys can see how it plays out. Which, by the way, is crazy that the bigger wells are actually killing the boss in, like, what, a couple seconds, a few seconds? Like, the amount of crayon boards they have unlocked extra is crazy. That's where, like, most of the combat power goes towards. But again, that's what I've been running. That's just an example run you guys can get there. As you guys can see, Kidian damage is fantastic. Yomi damage, as usual, is stupid. And the main carry here, for me, it's going to be my shield. Now, Seist is doing really good damage. Like, obviously she had 1 item, 2 items. I don't remember how many, if you guys can rewind. But obviously, you know, Blanchett is doing almost the same on element. But off element, she's doing good damage. And the important part is not her damage, is that she's buffing other DPSs. That's the most important part, right? So that's what I've been running. That's how we usually put the items. We got really lucky here, like really lucky on that run in terms of item distribution. On stream, I sometimes spend like an hour just retrying, resetting until I get good items. So if you're not willing to consistently reset, just check what the top wells are using, copy that, auto, and enjoy your end of season rewards. Okay, don't worry too much about those. Trickcal is a pretty good game when it comes to rewarding players. That said, enough ranting, enough japping. That's everything for this video. Any questions you guys might have about Dimensional Clash, feel free to leave a comment down below. Good luck with your pool, dinner dates, and I'll see you on the next one.